Sermon 34, Commentary. This sermon was delivered in Kufa during the critical phase of preparation for the Battle of Siffin in 37 AH, after Imam Ali had defeated the rebels at Jamal, but faced escalating threats from Muawiyah ibn Abu Sufyan, who controlled Syria, and refused to pledge allegiance to Imam Ali, using the pretext of avenging Uthman's death, while consolidating power and launching raids into Imam Ali's territories. The people of Kufa, despite having given their allegiance to Imam Ali, repeatedly showed reluctance to mobilize for war, making excuses, deserting when called to fight, and failing to defend borders against Syrian incursions. This pattern of hesitation had already manifested in earlier raids, e.g. on al-Anbar, and persisted despite the Imam's repeated calls, sermons, and personal leadership. The sermon reflects the Imam's exhaustion from constantly urging, rebuking, and trying to inspire a community that was physically present but spiritually and militarily divided, torn by tribal loyalties, war weariness, and attachment to worldly life. It was uttered in a moment of intense frustration, just as Imam Ali prepared to march north towards Siffin, knowing the Syrians were disciplined, united, and aggressive, while his own forces remained unreliable. Ibn Maytham al-Bahrani in his Sharh says the opening quote, where Imam Ali states, "Woe to you, I am tired of rebuking you," reveals the Imam's profound emotional exhaustion, not from personal weakness, but from the repeated failure of the community to rise to the duty of jihad and defense of the truth. When Imam Ali states, "Your example is that of camels whose protector has disappeared," this equates to a devastating metaphor for disunity and lack of leadership response. Without firm guidance, the Kufans scatter in every direction. The Imam's declaration of personal readiness, "I shall use my sharp-edged swords of al-Najafiyyah," underscores Imam Ali's own courage and resolve. He will fight alone if necessary, trusting in Allah's decree. Allama al-Majlisi in his Bihar quotes narrations from many of the Imams explaining that this sermon describes the Kufan spiritual disease, attachment to dunya, this world, over akhirah, hereafter, fear of death, over fear of Allah, and cowardice disguised as caution. When Imam Ali states, "I believed about you that you will cut away from the son of Abu Talib like the severing of a head from the trunk," this is a prophetic warning fulfilled in later events, such as the desertion at Siffin, the later abandonment of Imam Hassan, and ultimately in Karbala. The mutual rights section is foundational. The Imam's duty is guidance and justice. The people's duty is obedience and sincere support. A breach of this contract leads to communal failure. Allama Tabatabai says that this sermon exposes the root of defeat. It is spiritual weakness, hearts that are affected with madness, as Imam Ali states, preference for worldly life over dignity, and lack of rage at injustice. "Those against you do not sleep, but you are unmindful," is understood to be a contrast between the disciplined, vigilant Syrians, united under falsehood, and the heedless Kufans, who are divided despite being led by a truthful figure like Imam Ali alayhi salam. Ayatollah Jawad Amali and other contemporary scholars such as Mukarram Shirazi say that this is one of the clearest texts, providing that true allegiance, bay'ah, requires active obedience and sacrifice in times of need. Verbal support alone is worthless. The Imam's readiness to fight alone, as previously stated where Imam Ali says, "I shall use my sharp-edged swords," reflects Imam Ali's infallibility and tawakkul, pure trust in Allah. His leadership is not dependent on numbers, but on truth and resolve.